Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shuttlecast. My name is Sal.
I'm Josiah.
I'm Nathan.
And welcome to another wonderful edition where we have the three of us. Nathan's back from moving. God bless.
That's right. Yeah, you guys had the sloppy format last time, you know, where you did a cold open. My God, what kind of trash are you guys running without me?
I know we were so off our sync, our kilter. It was scary. But welcome to episode 8. Isn't that crazy?
Holy
Isn't that
fuck!
insane?
It's been 2 months.
You know, we've tripled the amount that existed. Over the span of like a 3-year period.
It's wild. It's truly incredible what we've done here, what we've achieved as a society. We had a cold open and a guest, a different person than you, Nathan.
That's true.
But we didn't get your take on In a Violent Nature.
We
You didn't. Yeah. Who knows what I think?
I think
it was pretty good. I think that
that was the ambience of the movie. That was just.
Oh, thank you.
I want to get you in the mood.
Yeah, no, just real quick to bridge the previous episode to this one. I obviously, like, storyline wise, it's very thin because it's just a gimmick movie, but also I feel like it would have been better if it actually committed to the gimmick and didn't have so much cutting away. It's funny, I was also talking with Joe about this when we hung out last, but I had an idea for the fix to the ending, where basically you steal from Blair Witch, and when the girl drives away with the woman, you have their audio, but we're still following him, and we watch him walk through the woods, and so we still have that feeling of oh god, he's gonna catch them eventually, and then it just ends with him going back to his hiding place, and it's he's good. I give it like a 3 to 3.25 out of 5.
Yeah,
it's all right.
It's aight.
I'm pretty sure that's what Sal and I gave it. I think we gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, something along that.
Very solid. Good presentation for the most part.
Good soup.
Yeah, good soup.
I was just pulling up Nathan's letterbox. I forgot what his name was for a moment. I just want to see what he was doing. You did a Spy Kids retro.
He did.
I did. But he hasn't 1 through 3, not 1 through 4, but 1 through 5. Although I didn't finish 5.
So you don't have to finish 5, but you do have to watch Machete 1 and 2.
Oh shit! You're so right.
Because you haven't seen 2 yet, so you gotta.
I haven't, and that's the one that has Daryl Sabera. So
I didn't know there was a 5th Spy Kid.
It's a Netflix film.
Armageddon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no! It has Shazam.
I know. I was talking. It's So it's got Shazam and it's got Gina Rodriguez as the parents, and let me tell you,
it was
watching
so good.
Well, it's funny because watching the OG trilogy, the first film specifically, when you see Gregorio and Ingrid Cortez, you're like, oh, these people fuck. I'm surprised they only have 2 kids. The passion's there. Whereas Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez are I think they got along on set. Do I buy that they're married and love each other and or their kids? No.
The fuck is Gina Rodriguez? No disrespect.
It's what's her fucking name? It's Letty from Fast and Furious.
No, it's not.
No, who's it? Hold on.
That's Michelle Rodriguez.
That's Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez. It is Michelle Rodriguez. Forgive me.
Oh, she's in the movie I made fun of a lot in 2019, Miss Bala. Because
did you?
I did. It's it was a time-honored tradition of mine that every time I saw the movie in the trailer in theaters, I would recite this part where they're like, Miss Bala means Bolen.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Yep.
right.
Uh-huh.
That explains a lot more.
It's starting to make sense.
You both just got hit with the wave. Like,
I think we saw that. I think we saw that before Thor Ragnarok, but I could be wrong.
Who did this?
Well, it's so funny because the whole time I was watching, and again I stopped early.
I'm sorry.
And because actors and actresses can look so drastically different. The whole time I was like, why is Michelle Rodriguez like so uncharismatic and like uninteresting?
You just heard Rodriguez, and you were like,
yeah. It's like,
there's only one of them.
Yeah, how many Rodriguez's are there? There's Michelle and there's Robert. I can tell them apart.
Who did this?
That was great.
Speaking of Michelle Rodriguez, this is a fun segue. Did you notice she's in the first Avatar movie?
Oh yeah, isn't she one of the soldiers or whatever?
She's like the pilot that defects and helps him at the end, and then
yeah.
And again, I guess we'll do this today because there's not a lot else to talk about. But I recently rewatched Avatar 1 for the first time ever, which is crazy to think that I went so long fucking dodging it.
That's very impressive.
I mean, it looks fucking boring, and I was like, "What the fuck's the point?" And then I think I tried. I think my exposure to it was I saw it like in like a Sam's Club Costco situation on a TV, and I watched it for 5 minutes, and I was like, "Man, that looks like so fucking dull." But then I watched it recently because I'm at home, and I was like, "Well." Yeah, fuck it. Let's kill 3 hours. Let's finally, let's finally watch Avatar. And I gotta admit, I think I love it. I initially gave it like a 5, and I think I even wrote in my review. This is probably just because I just watched it. It's a 5. This will go down, and it definitely did go down.
Good.
I forget where it ended up. I think a 4.5. That last half star is just pure vibes.
That's that. Oh. Those are some strong vibes. It's so funny because you were talking, and I'm like, yeah. At the end of the time I watched it, I was like, wow, that is really dull and uninteresting. But I think also, I feel like at the time that was like the movie that they used to hype up IMAX, where it's like you have to see this on the biggest screen of all.
It was to hype up 3D. I mean, it was what created that 3D craze for 6-7 years.
Is that the real D3D?
Yeah, I think so.
That's how I watched.
Deathly
Hallows Part 2 was real whatever the fuck, real D3D.
Yeah,
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, because it wasn't really like super shot for it, so mostly it was like the particle effects of the wand and like the ashes falling.
Yeah.
So it just like enhanced instead of being like Resident Evil 3D, where it's like, what?
I feel yeah.
Actually, the best 3D experience ever was actually Spy Kids 3D.
Yes.
All things come back to Spy Kids.
They need to put that back in theaters with the new 3D technology.
Dude, I remember being a fucking kid, and like when he blew the bubbles, I swear to God, they were in the aisle with me.
When that lava
there.
monster fucking threw that rock, I was like, "This is it! Like we're all done.
This is it." It was like me watching Avatar. No, I'm kidding. It's not the same. But what happened? Oh, wait, so Josiah, remind me, because it's been like it's been actually like a month and a day since I
think so.
Posted my. I'm looking at it since I posted my little letterbox. Oh my God, Avatar! I'm so dumb for holding off. What did you say? What did you attacked me because of my? You attacked me. I remember you attacked me.
You remember I attacked you? On the podcast or
no? This is I think right before we started the podcast. Yes, you gave me a skull and crossbones.
It's a pirate flag.
Oh, okay.
Like you were going rogue.
See, on my phone it was just a skull.
Oh no, it's a Jolly Roger.
On my computer it is a
Yeah.
Yo ho fiddly dee.
Yeah, it was in no way insulting. It was no way saying I was dead. It was saying you've gone rogue.
I thought you were dead because I liked it.
No.
It was just a general disclaimer, like we sometimes have to do with these, where it's like the thoughts and opinions of Salvatore Haran are the thoughts and opinions of Salvatore
Hey,
Haran
Lord.
and his alone. But, oh shit, I'm sorry.
Put at least
Cut
a
that.
modicum of respect on my name before you attack me, please.
Shit, I'm sorry. Listen, I never attacked you. I just disavowed you.
That's true.
Avatar, I can see trying to divorce myself from the time in which I saw it.
'Cause you gave it a 2.
I believe I did, yes. I did give it a 2.
I have the numbers right here.
Which, I think if I'm being intellectually honest, it's probably a 3.
See, I'll accept the 3. 2 feels like a little too low.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you sorry.
I think it should, at the very least, I'm doing it right now. It's going up to a 2.5. It might go up to a 3 by the end of this conversation, but I'm making no promises.
I was gonna say I'd probably compromise and put it at a 2.5 because for me,
it's easy.
This to me, it was so weird because there was this Terminator Salvation and Wrath of the Titans when Hollywood was like, who's going to be the next big action star? Sam Worthington. And I'm like, to steal a phrase from Jim Cornette, I'd rather watch a dog lick its balls than listen to Sam Worthington perform. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I think I don't view him the same way now that I've seen him in some stuff later, but I think at the time I don't think he was ready. For the responsibility of these projects,
of being a leading man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a little harsh. I don't think he's a terrible actor. I just think that when he's made a leading man, he's not given as much as I would like to work with. Now, again, It's been over 10 years since I've seen Avatar. I think I saw it once in theaters and then once out of theaters the following year. So yeah, it's been about 11 years. But I won't blame Sam Worthington, but I do think that Jake Sully leaves me a little bit to be desired as
Jake Sully
as a protagonist. So
I mean, so I think Jake Sully's an interesting character. I think his arc is interesting. It's actually one of the things that makes me kind of excited to watch Way of Water when I get around to it, is seeing how that character, like, outside of this one movie, actually like continues forward if they can do a good job with it.
Yeah.
I think that Sam Worthington's acting when he's human Jake Sully is ranges from okay to okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Mainly it's at the end when he's like a husk and he's like fucking disgusting and he's like, I'll put you back in. That's when I'm like, oh, all right. Things are happening. I think he's the best actually when he's ironically the Avatar. I think his
I'd say so.
Removed from his body acting, just having to focus on his voices, I think he's actually really good. I actually to the point where I looked up and I'm like, did he also do the voicing? Because I was like, is this a Halo 5 situation where they just got his face and he did like the on-set acting and then they got someone else to come in? Because I was like, feels like different. Like it feels.
I didn't know they did that with him in the Black Ops game. Right?
Yeah, in Halo 5, what was his name? Michael Coulter.
Yeah.
He so he did the Halo 5 Nightfall movie, lower budget Pitch Black, dog shit. And
yes.
Then he was supposed to voice that character in Halo 5 because he's like the secondary kind of the first main character, honestly. And they got his face scanned and then he couldn't come back and do the audio. So someone else did his voices.
Yeah, he was busy doing Luke Cage, I believe.
Yes.
I was gonna say, was it Luke Cage?
It was. It was.
So,
man,
Defenders is important.
No, it isn't. But I think with Sam Worthington's performance, I think it's more just like maybe he was just, it's either A, just him not having to worry about his body and just voice acting did a lot better of a job, and maybe he's supposed to be a voice actor, or
But
B,
he did the motion capture though.
yeah,
like,
or I think maybe it's also a bit of B where it's because Jake as the Na'vi is supposed to be so happy and full of life that it was a more charismatic character as opposed to human Jake, which just wants to fucking die.
Yeah, I think what I'll say is, again, I put a lot of besmirchment on the name of Worthington. And even in Terminator Salvation, I don't think he's bad. It's not his fault that he was given the impossible task of stealing the leading man role from Christian Bale and having to compete. That's just not easy to do, and this is peak Bale too. Yes, peak Bale at the height of his on the onset of actually getting paid.
For you. And how was it?
That was great.
It was relevant.
See, but I would argue that Terminator Salvation was like one of Bale's worst performance.
And even then,
at that time,
I would say so.
But 100%, even then, he's completely outshining Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
But he's also given the more iconic character as opposed to the character that they tried to make mysterious, but instead it just felt like he came from nowhere.
Again, I know people won't agree with me, and I haven't seen Dark Fate. I don't plan to ever in my life. But the Terminator franchise is another one of those ones where I remember when Salvation was like, oh man, this is so much worse than Rise of the Machines. And at the time, Rise of the Machines that was so much worse than Judgment Day. And then Terminator Genesis came out, and at first it was kind of like, hey, this is like, it's kind of better, like it's in the future and they're actually dealing with the time travel stuff. And then in hindsight it's like, no, I mean, that's just not as good as Salvation. And then when I found out what they did in Dark Fate, I was like, okay, maybe Salvation isn't the worst thing ever. It's
I love that the last two Terminator films have both done the thing of like, we're going to ignore those shitty sequels, right, fans? And then their movie sucks too. And it's like,
yes.
oh.
Yeah, it's always funny, the hubris of that, of we're going to decanonize those terrible movies and people will prefer our version of it, and then they don't continue it at all.
It's ironic.
Because at least four was following on from what 3 set up.
It was they did like recast and changed a few things to distance itself, but it didn't retcon 3 out. But then you have it's just so weird that between Genesis and Dark Fate,
sorry,
Fant 4 stick and Genesis.
That one. I mean, I know it's said a few times. I don't know why that one just fucking. I think it's because I'm reading a different article while you guys are talking about Terminator, and that just came through the ether.
It's fair. But yeah, I it's just so funny that because Genesis and Dark Fate, I know there's a few years between them. I don't know exactly how long there is between them, but comparably, it's a pretty short gap between those two movies coming out, and both of them have James Cameron be like, oh, this is the true Terminator 3, and then they both suck, and it's like, James Cameron, why did you endorse Genesis and then try to destroy it yourself and then make something even worse?
I mean, yeah, because he's threatening to make another one that's his true vision. But
we're getting that fucking Netflix anime, so
yes, that's a hit or miss, because either you're gonna get like Cyberpunk Edge Runners quality. I know we're not, but you could get that, or you're gonna get Skull Island.
Oof.
So,
I was gonna say late seasons Castlevania or early seasons Castlevania.
Who did this?
It's got Timothy Olyphant as the Terminator.
Hey, there we go. See, that's great, man. Anyway, so Avatar's great. It's good. It's good time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Listen, I'm just saying, I think it should be at least. I understand you might not enjoy like maybe the story or the characters, but I think just technically as a movie, it's
it's solidly made. It's the tragedy of when something gets highly praised and you don't see it. It's almost like an affront, which I'm trying to be better about. And I think you're right. I think like it as it is solidly made. Like on just the technical level and the filmmaking level, it's probably, that's a solid film.
Yeah.
Is it a great film in my opinion? No, but it's a solid film, and I will no longer be hating on Avatar. That being said, I don't know if I'm ready to take the leap to watch a sequel because of my issues with James Cameron.
Would it be better if we all got together and watched The Way of the Water? Or would that be too much?
I think we would spoil each other's experience with our differing mindsets clashing over the viewing.
I think it's funnier to do it separately and then come together, and then we all at the same time say,
that was great.
That was great.
I do. It is interesting because seeing your Letterboxd stuff and listening to last week's Shuttlecast.
Are you speaking
of course
about
I
me?
call the show. Yes,
okay.
Salvatore. I feel like I've gained a deeper understanding into your perception and appreciation of movies. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong. This is my perception.
Okay.
I do feel like you approach movies more from a technical and editor filmmaker level than from a writing level. I'm not saying you ignore the writing or anything like that, but it's just funny to me where, for instance, you'll say with Avatar, oh, that's a 4 out of 5 movies, and then you can be like, well, if you don't really like the characters, the story, but the way it's made is so good, it's like, wait, what? And then comparably last week, when talking about Long Legs and Oz Perkins stuff, the whole thing was like, oh, the pacing is just so terrible, and nothing happens, and I'd be like, well, I didn't, obviously Long Legs you talked about, but his other stuff, I didn't know anything about what it was about. All I heard was that they're really slow films. So that that's been an interesting thing for me.
There's always an argument to be made. I mean, I agree, is sometimes the writing can be a bit weaker, just standard, and if other aspects, you have to at least consider it on some level.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's 100%. Why I think for me it dropped to a 4.5 for Avatar, is because it wasn't the strongest film, and again that last little bit of vibes / it's not the characters are fine, they're not they're not phenomenal.
So you're saying the half star, so it's you'd say it's kind of a 4, but the atmosphere makes it a 4.5.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The way it looks it's such a beautifully fucking shot and made movie. Yeah, I think for me, I do definitely look at it's funny how we all will gauge a movie. And I've learned to, when I read a Nathan letterbox, to translate what that would mean in my brain. But yeah, I think for me, the writing is definitely an aspect of it, but I feel
oh, for sure,
movie making, at least how I look at it in terms of enjoyment, is there's so many departments that I for every movie that comes out, if it's pretty decently shot, edited, no mistakes, no glaring errors, it's going to be at least a 2. Just base level, it's going to be a 2. Even if I say I hate this movie, it sucks, I can't give it less than a 2 if if technically the cinematographer was on point, the audio people knew what they were doing, the actors were, if it's a competently made movie, technically it's gonna get a 2 from me. And then from there it's well, then how well is it done, how well is it written, how well is it acted, and then vibes.
That's I do think that mine's the opposite, because for me, if I don't have a character that I love, then I don't think I could put it above a 3. I take it from the character and story, and then from there, how well is it presented to get those extra points. So that's very interesting.
I mean, and I think something that always I'm thinking about more and more with film criticism, or just not even criticism, just discussion in general, is something that's very tricky. And this is where you get into a lot of this, the author intent versus death of the author. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole necessarily, but what is what is the project trying to accomplish? If something's trying to be bad, I can't really judge it by that it failed because it's trying to be bad. So you have to approach it a bit differently. Or so, I'm looking, you were talking earlier about Nathan, about like it's a 3, a character that you love. But then I'm thinking, I watched the Soviet silent film, Man with a Movie Camera, and that's pretty much just a documentary of life. There's no characters, and that for me is like a 4. But I acknowledge that that's a me appreciating the editing and the technicality of the filmmaking. It has nothing to do with any writing because there is none. But again, this is part of the fun of coming together and discussing the different ways in which something does or does not work for us, and what we get out of it.
Yeah, I'm a lot harsher on writing if it's a book. Because because the writing and the editing are like most of what it encompasses. So like if you're a poorly written book, I'm gonna fucking give you the business, son.
Mm-hmm.
I read this really bad book. I try to do this thing. So I have a lot of books I want to read that are like, all these books from years that I've been trying to get through. But I'll also allow myself to try a new book I've never heard of before. And I will go to Barnes & Noble and I will literally see a book. And if it looks cool, I'll buy it. Not every book, obviously, but sometimes like I'll look at a book and I'm like, yeah, let's give it a go. And sometimes I get like absolute gems. Like there's this one book I read like a few months ago called Yamihara. It was like a Japanese book translated to English, and it was so creepy and fantastic, and I loved it. But then I recently read a book called A Magical Girl Retires, which is a translated South Korean book. And man, I wanted to like it. It sucked dog shit.
Oh.
And it's been fun doing that, just like to go, because I have all these books I want to read, but it's fun to go in and be like, yeah, fuck it. I'm not going to look up anything about this book. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to start reading it tonight. And then seeing what happens.
Do you read like the excerpts at all that are like on the book, or purely just?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
I'm like, that caught my eye. Let's do it.
See, I think I'm trying to do that more and more, especially with like, I'll bring it up, but I saw that Warner Brothers posted the Joker Folie à Deux official trailer, and I'm like, I'm leaning towards being curious about this. I'm just not going to watch this because, maybe it will color my expectations. Maybe it's going to,
the trailer.
The trailer, yeah.
Okay.
Because at first I was like, why are they making a sequel? And then I was like, of all the recent trailers, this at least feels like a movie. Like, it feels like there's some artistic intent behind this. So I'm thinking I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm worried that if I watch the trailer, I will potentially go back into the original way of thinking, and I want to give it a fair shot. So.
So you should instead get into the mindset of Todd Phillips and go through the Hangover trilogy and the first Joker, and then see where that gets you to Joker 2.
I've watched Hangover 1. I don't remember much about it. I'm sure that it's secretly kind of like brilliant because I don't think it would have gotten 3 movies, especially with the third apparently being so depressing.
I think the first one is iconic. I don't think it, I think it's fine for what it is. But really what I'm interested in like, I don't really give a shit about the second one. It is what it is. But the third one is just so fascinating that the story went there. It's not good, but like I can see. Before I didn't really get it when people talked about Joker kind of being an insert for Todd Phillips when he talks about like like specifically at the talk show where people are kind of shitting on him for sharing his viewpoints and him like defending what is and isn't funny. I can definitely see that after watching the Hangover trilogy, because hooey, it's not funny, but I can see that like it's trying to be. It's very weird.
Well, it's very interesting, yeah, because I watched something recently. I've been watching recently some things that, you know, they're very, very stark, very dark, but you know, I can see why they're funny, even if I'm not laughing. But obviously, those are differently set up than The Hangover, which is pitched as like, you know, if you liked the 40-year-old virgin and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, recently I rewatched with Katie the first time Godfather 1 and 2, and so that was really cool.
Oh, fuck yeah. I honestly do need to go back and rewatch them.
Same.
It's really good. We planned a day around 2 and made a bunch of spaghetti, and and it was great. You know, you center a day around, especially part 2, because you know it's so. I'm so glad they're so long. You know, like imagining like a 90-minute Godfather kind of hurts.
Oh fuck, the TV edit.
The TV. Well, the irony is, yeah, on TV they made them longer because in some cases, but
yeah.
You know, it's interesting because I was like talking to Katie about it. I'm like, you know, there's this debate amongst my film friends, like, which is better? Putting aside that Francis Ford Coppola thinks views them as one movie, part 1 and 2. Which is better, part 1 or 2? And there's this vocal group on one side that's like part 1, this vocal group on the other says part 2, and then she kind of said, you know, yeah, I guess you can't have the full pathos of part 2 without part 1, but part 2 is more fun to watch in some places. I'm like, okay, that's fair. So she basically came down on, I'd want to rewatch part 2 more than part 1, but part 1's the better movie. I'm like, okay, this just got interesting. Okay.
See, it's been so long since I've watched them, but I think my perception that I've carried with me from the last viewing is I feel like part 1 and part 2, that's like one of the only instances in cinema that I've experienced where it's like these are truly equal. Like I can't separate them. I know some people have that with like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I could understand that. Empire edges it out for me, but yeah, Godfather Part 1 and 2, it's like, fuck, they're both 10 out of 10s. Like, what am I?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So I'm really interested, and at some point, once I moved into this new apartment, we're gonna have an open house with Godfather Part 3 and more spaghetti, and then we'll find out. You know. Is someone gonna choose part 3 as the best? No.
I'll do it.
Come on. There's gotta be.
I'll do it. No matter what I actually think, that's what I'm gonna say.
There you go.
Have you seen part 3?
I've seen them all. I'm Italian.
Oh, okay. All right.
Dumb bitch.
That's why I was so shocked. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, you know, you can have those
into your eyes.
Also, real quick, talking shop. Joe, Katie, and I are keeping all of our boxes. So whenever you guys get started, feel free to grab them because
you know that is
you don't want to get nickel and dimed.
No, that I appreciate that. I'll contact you about that.
And those U-Haul like totes are pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Liberal use of those.
Something that Nathan and I watched recently.
That felt so good. God.
Need that on the soundboard.
Yeah,
we do. We need a bigger one. But Nathan and I recently watched Doctor Who and the Daleks, which is the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movie.
Peter Cushmer.
Peter Cush.
Sorry.
So he did 2, and then the third Doctor Who movie was the Paul McGann one. So it forms like a weird trilogy in a way. But we watched the first one, and
Paul McGann.
And yeah, Paul McGann's great. Please just give him another like movie or something. Whatever. It's too late.
He'll get his miniseries once we get the Hooniverse launched.
Thank you, appreciate that. But we watched that movie, and It was, in some ways it was cool. There was a couple aspects that were quite nice, but overall, unfortunately, we waited so long to watch it. I was a big Doctor Who fan. I'd watched so much of it, and then I was like, yeah, at some point I'm going to watch those Peter Cushing movies. And then I watched the first one with Nathan and Katie, and it was like, yeah, that's okay. It's all right. Peter Cushing is, he's trying with what he has, but it was nice. It was like one of those weird things where it was nice to watch, but I can't in good conscience strongly recommend it to anyone.
Man, I mean, I probably didn't know about these, but I did not. Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. They made this adaptation of 2 of the Dalek arcs as movies, and Peter Cushing's like a human Doctor Who. Like his last name is literally Who. Her name's Susan Who. Like his granddaughter and stuff like that.
I was reading the synopsis and I was like, what the fuck?
I think if I had watched this by myself and just was like giving it a critical eye, I would be truly miserable. But as a viewing experience with my good friend and kind of being like, what the hell? It's all right. It has this really weird thing where there's kind of no protagonist, but kind of ensemble protagonist. Like it's literally
switches.
Yeah, like 1/3 of the movie is mostly like they're all together for the most part, but like 1/3 of the movie is focused on one person, the next third is on another, the third is on it's baffling.
This feels like a movie that would come out like now if 2000 whatever Doctor Who never happened, and this was like them trying to reboot it and reimagine it. Yes. You know what I mean? This is bizarre.
Yeah, agreed. Because the turning him into a human, I guess, is simplifies it for like, hey, we're just doing a movie. Like it's 90 minutes. We gotta move. We don't have time.
83 apparently, according to the back of this Blu-ray I'm looking at.
It's very short. It takes the
that's half an episode of Stranger Things.
Yes.
Oh
yeah. It took the second storyline of Doctor Who and then cut 50 minutes out and said, here you go. It's but it's a bigger budget. Like it's that widescreen epic kind of feel, and that but it's unfortunately it's just not the best. It's like it would be something to like show kids to get them into the series, maybe. I don't know. I do like what they did.
Just show them Paul McGann.
I mean, well, but they got some weird slime stuff in there. I don't know if they're ready for that.
As a kid, anyway.
Well, let's move on.
What's the next? I have some things I want to talk about.
Yeah, please.
So some upcoming things.
Mm-hmm.
I went on IMDb to do something to look at something I forget, and it had a very helpful little like spotlight thing, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, spotlight. So it's like a little thing to show you like what's coming out in the I just closed the thing I was looking at. It's fine. I could find it again. It's very in my head. So look at new stuff coming out, and so coming out soon we have Descendants: Rise of the Red. Oh wait, no, wrong tab. Wrong podcast. So we recently released we've not released it yet. That's gonna come out zibbity dibbity. Oh, this weekend. This ties into this weekend's episode of Escape Pod. Haha.
Oh.
Yeah, that thing. Where we talk about Dragonheart.
Mm-hmm.
And so this movie's coming out called Starve Acre.
Huh?
Starring Matt Smith and Moffred Clark.
Okay.
Who everyone would know Moffred Clark from.
Who did this?
I think her thing's wrong. I was thinking of a different actor, but that's okay. She just brings the power of Galadriel. I for a second there, I think because I was editing Dragonheart, I thought she was the girl from the prequel Dragonheart movies, but my brain was shielding me from her actually being from Rings of Power.
Yeah, wasn't it that Dragonheart 3 through 5 are all prequels?
Yes,
that's right. Because here's the last one.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Tamsin Merchant. I'm such an asshole.
Yeah.
They kind of look alike though.
A little bit.
That's not my fault. But yeah, it looks interesting. It's Matt Smith, so it's gonna be good. He's gonna be good.
We always like Matt Smith.
He could be in the worst movie ever, and he'll still shine.
Is it and he has been. Is it a Dragony movie or
No? I just thought that Mofford Clark looked like Tamsin Merchant.
Oh, that was the tie.
Yeah. I got my wispy British white girls mixed up. I'm sorry.
As you do.
It's a drama horror though, so it sounds cool. It comes out eventually. I can't. IMDb is so archaic. I can't see when it comes out. October 4th. Jesus Christ, guys!
That was great.
You gotta hide it from me.
I think we still don't know when Hellboy: The Crooked Man comes out for us.
Oh yes, let me.
Not officially.
Let me do it quick.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Last I saw, IMDb had release dates for like all over the fucking world except the United States.
Oh really? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
yeah, you're right.
Did we all read The Crooked Man?
I still haven't.
Motherfucker!
No,
I know. I've got it right. It's right here.
That's good.
It's right next to me.
He does. He had to move.
I had to move.
Before that, he didn't.
Listen.
Well, I got it like a day before.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I was there. I saw him. I fought him.
I fought. Sorry, I wasn't there. By the way,
That's all right.
I didn't get home till like around 1 a.m.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that would have been brutal.
I decided to be an adventurous lad, and months ago purchased tickets to an indie wrestling show in Seattle called Defy Wrestling. Because I was like,
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
well,
That was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, DeFi is fun.
yeah, Defy was fun, but I'm not a car person. I bus everywhere, so I bussed out to Seattle. On the way there and back, oddly enough, I was listening to Roadside Picnic audiobook, which is the basis of the Stalker movie and games.
Oh.
Nathan,
Yeah, the original Russian. Yeah.
Yes. So I was listening to Roadside Picnic, and then I watched some indie wrestling, and oh my god, it was very hot, and there were a lot of people, and it was very sweaty and smelly in there, and I think about like 10 minutes in, my brain was like mush because of all the fucking noises and everyone stomping and screaming, and it was like an almost 3-hour show.
Oh.
And
were you on the ground floor?
Yes, I was on the ground. I was not up in the beautiful. Next time, if I go again, I'm gonna get those nice.
You got to get those nice seats, man, because that's where you got to watch it. Because then you're away from all the smell.
Yeah, and also the wrestlers who almost killed me.
Yeah.
I think when I got my tickets at the second they came out, but there's some weird like you have to be a patron to then get their like pre-sale tickets. So I not all the balconies were gone. So I got I got the hard cam.
Oh well, hey,
So that's good. I'm in like a couple shots. I checked it on YouTube later.
Nice.
Whenever they're brawling over there, and they almost killed my nice ghost face backpack that I brought with me. But it was fun. It was basically a lot of people I did not know.
Sure.
No Seattle big Seattle favorites showed up. I thought for a second that Darby Allin was going to show up because their whole selling point when they first released the tickets was, it's the Acclaimed's first Defy show. And I was like, as much as I talk shit about the Acclaimed, I'm sure live it's going to be fun.
Sure.
And then I'm at the show, and I don't know the card at all because I didn't bother looking it up. And then apparently the show opens like, hey, Max Caster can't make it. And I'm like, well, if either of them couldn't make it, I'm happy it's Max Caster.
Yeah.
Woof.
And I know you guys don't watch AEW right now, but currently the storyline is it's the Elite versus Team AEW for Blood and Guts this Wednesday.
Yeah.
So Team AEW is Mark Briscoe, the Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah, I was going to say the Ring of Honor World Champion.
Swerve Strickland, the AEW World Champion.
There we go.
The Acclaimed, and Darby Allin. So I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if, because Max can't make it, they get Seattle local Darby Allin? No,
Yeah.
no, they didn't. No,
Oh.
no. It was,
I think he's barely cleared for blood and guts. So
he had a
they're
match.
probably
He was moving
"Darby,
pretty good.
You can't do anything until you do.
Dude, it was so funny when he I was at the show where he came back from his like leg injury.
Yeah.
And after the show, he was like, "Hey guys, I was hiding under the ring when you guys did that big suplex. The beam hit my head. I think I have a concussion, so I'm gonna go." And then we haven't seen him on TV until like a week or two ago. After that,
You know, it's really making up for. I think honestly, I jinxed it because a few months ago, back when I was watching AEW, I was like, how crazy is it that AEW has had so many injuries, and they have someone like Darby Allin who's been there going like full tilt for 4 straight years, and he's never had like a major injury that kept him off TV, and then he breaks his foot, then he gets hit by a bus, then he gets a concussion. It's like, holy fuck.
it's like whatever like magic charm was on him wore off all of a sudden, and then and like
He needs to re-up.
he does.
It's because Sting went away, you know.
Oh my god, that's
what
it.
is.
And once Sting left, his lucky charm was gone, then a fucking bus hit him.
He needs to go talk to the leprechaun about that.
Yeah. But it's
shit.
the person who did come out was like this indie wrestler, obviously. I can only describe him as a gay Joker.
Was
And
it what? Fuck, what's his name? Crazy Steve or something like that?
hold on. I could tell you who this is if I look it up.
Because there's a guy who was in TNA, I think.
I'm gonna go to trusty old cage match. Hold on.
Yeah.
His name is Randy Myers.
Randy Myers. That's not Crazy Steve.
Let me send you. Let's see, Randy Myers, wrestler. Welcome to our media podcast, folks.
While you're doing that,
I guess I need to save this image for the thumbnail. Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
very confused, but
they'll be like, "Ooh."
but yeah. Then after, so he kissed some dude in the crowd. It was great.
Oh, hi.
But then yeah, when the show ended, I was like, okay, how do I get home? And then yeah, it took me like till 1 a.m. to get back home, busted home from Seattle. Yeah, the A line was great at like 12 p.m. And in my head, I have like this like Russian like horror novel playing. And I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And I'm wearing like a Ghostface backpack, and I'm like, this is good. I'm gonna survive this. And then I woke up the next day at like 11. And I'm like, I had a blistering headache, and then Sean was like, "Are you gonna go help out Nathan?" And I'm like, I need water." and then I felt good at like 8 p.m. and then I was like, I think they're done. So
Yeah. No, it really didn't take super long. Like the main move was done from like I think I actually gave you the wrong figures. We got the truck at 9 instead of 8. And we had it unloaded at the place around like 2 or 3. There was some other like loose random shit we had to come back for over a couple trips over the weekend.
That's efficient.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Joe, so I'm happy for you though. I felt really bad, but I was also like incapacitated because I'm a homebody. So like going to and from Seattle, then going to a fucking show, I think was like, I'm very out of practice of doing anything fun whatsoever.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as because I just threw it out there, like not, you know, it was more like, hey, if you guys feel like it, you can. We're good, but you know, but then when you were like, oh, I've got an event Friday night before, but maybe after, and I was like, oh yeah, probably not. And then you're like,
Okay,
oh, I can do it.
okay.
I was like, all right, well, we'll see what we see.
I felt optimistic the day before, and then the day of, when I was still awake, I was like, I don't know about this.
Wrestling drains you. Like those are city miles they're putting on you in those 3 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's the thing where like I was in like the third row, and so like if anyone in front of me stood up, I had to stand up too because I'm like 2'3". So like,
yeah.
I'm like, well, I had to stand for like half the show, and then like I got wrestlers diving on me. I got to run out of the way.
How many people were there? Do you know? Do you have like an idea?
They said it was sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, usually, I believe it's the same building that I went to.
Washington Hall?
Yeah.
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 That's like their like spot.
Yeah, it's their main spot. They could probably fit 200 people in there.
Okay.
It felt like it. Oh, and the best part. Oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
One fun anecdote from the night, other than the fact that the main event was actually phenomenal and you should actually watch it, is that there was a guy who, if you watch the YouTube recording, is like on the hard camera right for like most of the show. He's standing by the wall, and it's this larger fellow, bald, and he's wearing a cyberpunk shirt. Not like my cyberpunk shirts where it's like cool and like interesting. It just says, it's just a logo.
Sure.
Kind of small. And as the night progressed, his shirt became sweat.
Oh.
And all night he was wearing an Apple Vision Pro.
Huh.
At a wrestling event.
Is that the like smart
glasses? Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
He was taking some private video.
Like,
he was getting the bootleg.
It'd be like an entrance, and I look over at him, and I'd see like inside his visor the screens are on, and he's like doing, his head's moving around. He's Tony Starkin.
Incredible.
He was watching other wrestling programs while being there. He was absorbing both at the same time.
I like to imagine he was watching the live YouTube feed so he could hear the commentary.
You know, that might be true.
But that was fucking incredible.
I'm curious if because I'm sure I'm the only one that follows this news, and it's funny because I don't even watch this promotion either, but the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, you know, that originally existed in like the 60s and 70s and then kind of got killed off, and now it's back kind of sort of as a smaller promotion. Like a year or so ago, they announced that they were quote unquote reviving the territories, and no one knew what that meant. It turns out they are pretty much like going to and vetting indie promotions, and like if they, you know, like what they see, I suppose, then they're brought under their wing. So I wonder if something like that could happen with DeFi, or if that's something they would even want. Last time I checked, they have like 6 or 7 different like little promotions that it's like NWA subtitle whatever the indie wrestling promotion is that they've taken under their wing. It's very cool.
Yeah, I remember that happening. I don't remember anything coming of it. I feel like Defy is probably, it'd be a big get if they got them, but Defy is pretty good on its own because
yeah, honestly.
I know they have shows outside of Seattle and Washington too.
Okay.
But that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what's not cool? I got a little something for you know, maybe some people who are fans of TikTok. This is a little soundbite because, you know, really to quote the classic, the great Tay-Tay,
Jesus,
you wouldn't last an hour in. So, welcome to my new little mini segment on the show. For those of you that don't know, there is a movie studio known as the Asylum, and the Asylum.
Wait, what's it called?
Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry. What is it called? It's called
the Asylum.
And what
You're gonna love me.
Asylum.
is known for, besides Sharknado, is they are known for making what quote unquote mockbusters of popular summer blockbusters. So, for instance, let's go back to 2007, and you are perusing your local blockbuster, and you're trying to find that big actiony sci-fi, robots that change shape between giant robot machine. What is it called? It's it's Transmorphers. Or I'm trying to think of a
Blockbuster closed in 2014.
Yeah, it's 2007. Taking time back. But anyway, so they make low-budget knockoffs. Primarily, it's just like the box art that looks the same or very similar, but then like the movie could be drastically different. So I've decided, as a test for my mental health, to go through
Asylum.
and where applicable, also the films that they're ripping off. So I've begun that journey, and I have a system in place. There's going to be a lot of wackadoodle things that come up as they do, and also there's conflicting information on this. So there might be films that are. The basic idea is to go in order of release. If it is ripping off a blockbuster, I'll watch the blockbuster first. And if it is part of a series, then I'll just go through the whole series, starting with the first one, rather than in order of release and having a series split up by other movies. So this time around, I watched the Killers duology, Killers and Killers 2: The Beast. And oh boy, what do I say about these films?
Asylum.
Oh God.
Help me.
Gonna cry?
So let me give you a taste of what Killers is like.
Just taste.
It opens with this narration where a woman says, "The job was supposed to be simple. Buy the drugs for half the price of the street value and sell them back for profit." And I was immediately like, this movie's an hour and a half. I don't know if I can do this. But the basic premise of Killers 1 is there is a small biker gang that is making a drug deal at this creepy abandoned warehouse. And in the middle of this drug deal, a group of killers from, I think it's the mafia, the drug pen, whatever.
The drug pen?
The drugs were stolen by the guy selling it to the biker gang, and the drug pin found out and sent a group of people to take people out. So the movie is random biker gang versus mafia thugs. Now, just going off that premise, can anyone spot an issue with this film?
No.
Now, I will take suggestions.
You can't morally root for anyone, I guess?
Correct. Someone put it perfectly, where it has the no protagonist syndrome. And like they really like I would like one of the biker guys, they're all shitty actors for one thing. One of the biker guys is like kind of trying to be Rocco from Boondock Saints, but isn't doing a good enough job for me to care. But the whole movie is basically... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I take that back. There is one person who is a really good actor, and I did remember his actor name, and now I've forgotten it, so forgive me. But he's like the head of the hired guns. His father is the head of the drug pen, and he looks like if... Imagine Jim Carrey's Stanley Ipkiss from The Mask if you deep faked a young Val Kilmer face on him. Yeah, and he's very wackadoodle. Like he kind of shrugs off like seemingly big insults, but then like one of his thugs gets killed and he finds him, and then he's like fucking inconsolable, and it was very fascinating to watch. But basically the story is just the biker gang finds out that the drugs were stolen. The guy who stole them gets caught by the killers. They realize that there are people in the building trying to kill them, and they all just hide in this room until like one by one they get bored and they decide to check. So like one will go down and try to escape from the killers, then he gets killed. One goes down and tries to make a deal with the killers, he gets killed. And it's like, what the fuck?
Is it like trying to be Reservoir Dogs?
Yes.
That's the thing.
God.
So this one isn't officially a ripoff of anything, but I did hear people say that it's like a knockoff of Reservoir Dogs.
They haven't quite got their feel yet.
Yeah, you know.
Oh no, on IMDb the poster of the collector's edition. There's a pull quote.
Collector's edition.
Yeah. There's a pull quote in the tradition of Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I
Confirmed.
should have watched Reservoir Dogs. That's
You've already fucked up, dude.
I know. I'm a failure.
You're one in.
No, because there's killers too, so it's fine.
It's true. I will also say that technically the Asylum didn't produce this film; they distribute it, so I shouldn't be covering it at all. So it's just more content for me. So I would say, so the guy that I talked about is good. There's like a couple of shots where there's this one of
Is that Paul Logan you're talking about?
I think so. That might be. There's this one guy who looks kind of like Triple H in Blade Trinity, who's one of the mafia thugs, and he is like weirdly able to stoically walk through and out of the dark, and I don't know if it's implying that he's like a vampire or something, but he seemed kind of supernatural.
Oh, no.
He was cool.
I'm so mad I just got this. Of course, Triple H is in Blade Trinity. I hate that. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't like. I'm looking at the info about Killers, and it says Killers 2: The Beast. Several scenes from the first movie are reshown. I'm excited for that.
Yes, so basically spoilers for Killers. We've been going through it all anyway. The main girl who did the really shit narration in the beginning, she's the only survivor of the group. I guess she was our protagonist.
Yeah.
And we actually follow her into Killers 2. And Killers 2, I will say, is better than Killers 1.
All right.
Because they try to flesh her out more as a character. Like in the first movie, we find out she's just like one of the gangsters' like girlfriends that's kind of doing it to get her kicks, a little adventure, and she's just kind of naive. In the second movie, we find out that she's like this rich girl, and like her parents are deeply disappointed in her, and she is trapped in this mental asylum because of supposedly PTSD.
So she's literally in the asylum.
Yo, Ginger Snaps 2, let's go.
And but the thing is, and I think they hinted at this in the first movie, but she has like moments where she's particularly threatened, where she kind of hulks out and like her pupils like super dilate, and she's able to like fight and kill people. I think it's I guess she's the killer, one of them. You know, and when push comes to shove, she is able to but the whole movie, it does this weird thing where it's like multiple times people are trying to kill her, and but is that actually happening, or is she crazy? It plays around with that like a couple of times, and then we find out in fact that there is another group of killers, part of that same drug kingpin, that are there to avenge the deaths of all the other ones from the first movie.
Oh, it's like Taken 2.
I haven't seen it, but I'll take.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Have you seen Taken 1?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. So it's really weird. Like the last 20 minutes, we're introduced to a new killer crew, and it's like, this is where it feels like they're trying to do more with filmmaking, because like they each have kind of like they have a little bit more personality. Like the the head guy is like wearing a retainer, and like one of the guys makes fun of him, but everyone else is like, he's gonna fucking kill you, and so he like, you know, talks kind of funny because he got a retainer in his mouth. You know, and so
Good.
and she actually escapes. She escapes from. But then she finds out that the killer team is going to go through and wipe everyone out, and she's like made friends, so she's like, I have to go back in and stop them.
Go back into
Asylum.
Thank you. And she has like she is able to kill them all. There's a really funny scene where she's facing off with one of them at the end of a hallway. He has a shotgun.
Okay.
She has 2 pistols.
Right.
They're rushing each other.
Okay.
She is shooting both of her guns. He's taking a couple steps,
Right.
shooting, taking
Yes.
a couple steps, shooting. They don't hit each other at all. And then once they get within like 10 feet of each other, she goes into a different room. And then, so like, yeah, it's that type of action where it's like, I feel like someone should have died by this point. So yeah, that's our first duology entry into
Asylum.
and you know, so 2 down, only, you know, I don't know, around 400 to go.
Yeah, you
There's
got
a lot.
this.
I'm gonna rub chilies into your eyes.
Oh,
I'm gonna run chilies into my eyes.
Yeah.
So I have
Oh
a
my
bit of
God.
a. I want to take us on a journey real quick.
Mm.
It's not that quick. But it's a journey I want to take us on. This will bob. This will weave. First, a small joke though. Do you know what movie the Asylum will probably never do a spoof of? Because you know they do like mockbuster movies, like they like blockbuster films.
yeah,
They
yeah.
probably won't make one about Furiosa.
Oh, you'd be wrong about that, my friend.
No, because
no.
it's not a blockbuster.
Well, it didn't manage to break the block, but by God, it tried.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Furiosa Blood and Chrome coming out 8/13, baby.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
All right, now back to my
I
story.
need to watch the Chrome duology.
Yes.
Right.
So I messaged our group chat earlier today because ever since I saw Dune Part 2, I've been trying to read Dune Messiah, which is the second Dune book, which will be the basis for the third movie by Denis Villeneuve.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's a character in Dune Messiah I just got to, who I forgot existed because it's been so long since I've taken the story, and it's taken me a while to read it because I'm not quite loving it. So it's
Yeah.
taken me a bit to get through it. But there's this character, Bijaz, He is a little person, dwarf. I'm not sure the right way to say that, and I apologize.
He has dwarfism. I know
yeah.
that way is safe.
I feel like saying,
You can't say has little personism.
yeah,
So you have
exactly.
to say has dwarfism.
I feel like saying dwarf. I feel like if I had this affliction, I want to be called a dwarf because that sounds badass. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Don't call me a little person.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a
that's just the meaning.
dwarf, bro. Look at anyway. So there's this character that has been Dune Messiah, and so I jokingly messaged the group chat, and I was like, "Do you guys think that Peter Dinklage will play Bijaz in Dune Messiah?" To which Nathan said, "Such an amazing thing. Do you feel comfortable repeating this to the class?"
Yeah, no, I can do
was-
it.
it was
give me a
masterful.
second. Let me review my notes.
Yeah. Also, did you see the GIF I sent?
Killers 2.
It's the clip from that Resident Evil game where it's Chris and I think Chris Redfield and Wesker having like a gun fu fight,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
shooting each other and they're both missing.
It's damn close.
Hey, at least someone's continuing the tradition of ultraviolet and equilibrium, you know?
Where the fuck did you talk about this?
The Meme Messiah channel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Forgive me. So, I said, but you see, it's discriminatory to cast an actor with dwarfism to play a fictitious dwarf, except this is a prestigious work with a large payout, so I happily accept the role. Peter Dinklage.
Which is, Which
Talk
isn't
about bad acting.
which is in reference to what happened with Peter Dinklage again, where it was
Snow White,
Snow
wasn't it?
White, yeah. Where-
Yeah, he I believe he was on like a talk show or an interview or something where he was like, "Oh yeah, it's like it's discriminatory and it's condescending to cast actors with dwarfism in like fairy tale small person roles, you know." And this is after he had, you know, made big boku bucks as Tyrion in Game of Thrones. So a lot of people, specifically, you know, actors with dwarfism, feel like he, you know, kind of made his money and then kicked the ladder out from under him so that, you know, no one else will get that same opportunity, where it's already hard to get an opportunity if you have dwarfism in Hollywood. So,
Yeah.
you know, it might have even been Warwick Davis who was like, you just cost 7 actors with dwarfism potential jobs that could get them exposure and make them money.
Yeah, because now instead of those 7 actors being able to play the 7 dwarves in Snow White, now because they don't want to like offend anybody, they're like, oh, we'll just like CGI the dwarves in Snow White. Yeah, and it's like, no, you just hire people with dwarfism. Like,
yeah.
What if I think that Hugh Grant would make a great Oompa Loompa? What the fuck?
What? He hated every second of that.
Yeah, no, that's another reason where he's like, I should be dead.
Like, why isn't a dwarf here? Why is it me? I don't want to be here. Because it's true. It's like Peter Dinklage gets to do all these things, and then he goes out and is like, but it's offensive to.
Well, it just goes to show you that a lot of the times people who like to lecture you the most about what's proper, they're usually the ones on top.
Yeah, which all brings us to a movie I love. So, in 1981, a movie came out called Time Bandits by known Monty Python's Terry Gilliam directed it, and he wrote it with Michael Palin. And it's an amazingly fun movie about a kid who joins a bunch of time-traveling dwarves, and they hop around a bunch of like eras. And there's a lot of cool characters, and there's Sean Connery's in it as as King Agamemnon. Shelley Duvall, rest in peace, is in it. John Cleese, Ian Holm, rest in peace. Like it has a great cast, and it's a cast full of like it's a kid and like a bunch of like dwarves, like people with dwarfism, and it's just such a fun and beautiful movie. I'm not sure if it's perfect. It's been a long time since I've watched it. But man, is it like imaginative and interesting. So anyway, they're going to come out with a show for Apple TV from Taika Waititi, adapting Time Bandits. And there's no little people, there's no dwarves.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
that's that's not funny. Although I did hear from someone recently, I remember talking to them, they were like, no, genuinely, Jojo Rabbit is a good movie and makes me respect Taika Waititi more. I'm like, well, you know, that's good because his credit with me is so low.
Yeah, he has negative credit.
He has negative credit, and if Jojo Rabbit's a really great movie, then he'll at least be, I guess, on neutral terms. I don't know.
And apparently this comes out tomorrow, by the way.
Well.
I guess today when you're listening to this.
Huh.
Yeah,
it is weird because I have only heard good things about Jojo Rabbit, but at the same time, outside of us, I've only heard good things about Thor Ragnarok. So I feel like people are stupid, but maybe I could be wrong.
We have to remember Jojo Rabbit is outside the Marvel machine, so I don't.
You're saying it might draw more people who use their brains?
Yeah, I don't think Jojo Rabbit is something that someone's gonna watch who thinks Thor Ragnarok is the best MCU movie.
That's a good point.
I you know, and I don't know because I haven't seen it, but you know, it was a few different people, different tastes, and they said it was a great movie. They used the word great, so you know, at some point
for Jojo Rabbit,
I will watch it. I owe him that much. I have to see, you know, because there was a point when I didn't like James Gunn. You know, like there was a point where I thought he was kind of obnoxious. And then I changed my mind. So
that is
maybe
it took me a few years for Guardians 1 to grow on me.
Yeah, same.
I think it was
Really?
once Guardians 2 came out that I revisited Guardians 1, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, it was pretty good. I think, you know, I do still kind of blame it for poisoning the well with the MCU, because it was kind of the first superhero comedy in that continuity, and from then on, they were like, what if all of our movies did this? And I was like, ugh. You find out that it's not because it's comedy, it's because James Gunn knows what he's doing.
See, you could. I tend to agree with you, but I do think that Joss Whedon with the Avengers, we were already kind of on that path.
Yeah, I could see
But
that.
it wasn't to the same extent. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
But I saw Time Bandits once, a long time ago. It's a lot of fun. It's very imaginative. That's
Letterboxd.
good.
And apparently, there was an interview with Terry Gilliam. I'll have to listen to it or watch it, where he criticized the show for a shortage of dwarves.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Strange.
Interesting.
Man.
And apparently he was disconnected from the production because the company sold it to other companies. So he wasn't, yeah. And honestly, I feel like, the show comes out basically today. No one's fucking talking about it. And you know what? Honestly, good. Rot, you son of a bitch. Like, I'm a very optimistic, kind person who will give things the benefit of the doubt.
You will.
This is from the offset creatively disingenuous. Like, really?
Even fucking Disney Plus's Willow series had, the decency to it. Still include Warwick Davis.
Seriously, this is this is absolutely just disrespectful. Because I'm looking at the cast, and there's the kid, and there's 5 bandits, and none of them are dwarves.
It's just unfortunate.
That's 5 jobs that you just costed people.
It's not even. It's not only 5 jobs, but it's another extra $5 million we could have given to any other worthy project that isn't just a rehash, original projects. And I guess special effects are. I would say special effects artists are getting work, but they're so overworked because we use so much CGI that I don't think this was necessary.
Honestly, it's just ridiculous. It's like, I think a Time Bandits show could work in theory. It's one of those properties where it's like, I bet a lot of people who, if they even see this show at all, would go, "Oh, it's based off something."
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's like a Ghostbusters where it has all this nostalgia and renown behind it. It's like me. It's like, I know what this is.
Real ones know.
Yeah, but because of how they're doing it, I don't want to fucking bother. I'm anti the show on principle. And it could be, and the funny thing is, it could be amazing. I don't care. You have off the bat shown how much you don't care, and it's more about the bottom line and about looking good. Because of what Peter Dinklage said in an interview 3 years ago. Because he was like, "Oh, I would never do a Snow White movie." Okay, dude, go do Cyrano that nobody watched. Have fun.
It's funny. Cyrano was on my letterbox, but now I kind of want to take it off.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm sure Cyrano was probably a good movie. It's just fuck you,
sure.
Peter Dinklage.
Honestly,
well,
I will acquire it.
It's so funny because he had so much goodwill for calling out the terribleness of Game of Thrones, but then all the cast did that, and he seems to have done everything he can to undermine my goodwill towards him.
Yeah, and I respected him to a degree for a while because of his willingness to pursue roles that typically someone of his, would not normally get or even audition for. And it was cool to see him in X-Men Days of Future Past. And it's not about the fact that he's a dwarf. It's his character. That kind of stuff is fantastic. It's okay, awesome. This is the Peter Dinklage I love. But then he does shit where it's when Nathan said, he kicks the ladder out from underneath him, where it's come on, bro, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well,
to quote Elf, another movie that he happily participated in, He's an angry elf.
It's just sad because
Gentlemen.
he's so good. It's whatever.
Gentlemen, I've really enjoyed talking to you. This is where I must bow out.
Sweet.
But
Well-
really great to talk to you again at the Shuttlecast. Then
We'll miss you.
thank you, and we'll talk Lies of P later.
Yeah, you're gonna miss Rebel Moon talk though.
Oh no! Bye bye.
And that was, is he gone?
He's gone.
Now I gotta switch it to you and me. There we go.
Hey.
Get him out of here.
I can't see it. I believe it looks great.
Yeah, now it's just us on the table. Yeah, you were in Angry Birds 1 and 2, Peter Dinklage, so don't come at me with this cockamamie bullshit.
Oh,
Actually-
fuck. I forgot they made 2 movies about that goddamn fucking mobile game.
Yeah, that no one, yeah.
Oh.
I'm glad you aren't not in Destiny anymore.
Me too.
No, he wouldn't have been able to keep up with the sheer volume. But should we, speaking of Rebel Moon, should we jump to that, or should we, Nah, you know what? At first, before we jump to Rebel Moon talk, I want to talk about the fact that the fucking Halo show is dead.
Thank God.
Thank fucking God,
man.
bro. This show had such a bizarre life in the decades it took to be made, and then what happened to it once it finally came out, to the decisions all laid within. I am a Halo veteran. I have so many opinions that I've just kept inside, because I think we all know that there's going to be a day where we'll make a big thing about it.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, it has been years since the pain has been very near, so I feel like a lot of my anger is it's minorly quenched, but it's still there if I could tap into it.
You'll get to be more of like a casually bitter college professor when it's time for your speech.
Yeah, I'll be a bit more reserved, but yeah. So the Halo show, it had a lot of iterations. Peter Jackson was attached, and then he tapped Neil Blomkamp, and then that didn't work out, so he made District 9 instead. Neil Blomkamp made an incredible short film for Halo that is some of the best Halo content ever.
Yep.
They also made those Halo 3. Dude, Halo from like Halo 2 through ODST was pretty fucking perfect.
They were at their peak.
Yeah,
like
'cause
creatively.
2 had the beautiful ARG audio drama I Love Bees, which is such a forgotten gem. And then for Halo 3, the art and marketing campaign with like the old Marines talking about their time in the war and how they revere the Master Chief, and like the talking about like the battles they fought in, and then fuck, dude. So like, and then I think after that, after Blomkamp, it didn't work with him. I think Steven Spielberg was gonna do a Halo thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it was gonna be like a weird, like a Microsoft Store show exclusive, where it was gonna be like a, something like that. And then eventually it, Bungie left, and 343 got the rights, and pretty much everything they did after that was bad. I'd say 343 Legends was good, and Forward Unto Dawn was, fine. Halo 4 was god awful. Halo 5 was pretty bad too. People do the thing where they pretend that it's like the Game of Thrones thing and the Thor thing, where they pretend that just the last one was the worst and everything before that was fine. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It was bad before that. Don't pretend.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre thing of like, I don't know. I hate to be this pretentious, condescending prick, but like the general audience, I don't know why it takes them so long to see the writing on the wall. Like,
and it's always like the things we say are bad about the previous installment. They'll go to the next one and say the same things we were saying, like almost every time.
Yeah,
I feel like Paul Muad'Dib. I'm like, I see all possible realities and futures. And yeah, so the Halo games are funny because they've said in interviews before, and it's different now because Halo Infinite's kind of bounced back a little bit because the whole team has changed, and now and they're trying with this carcass they're trying to puppeteer. Bless their hearts. I'm excited for the next Halo game when they can shuffle off this dead corpse. But
when it's that team working on it from start to finish.
Yes, and they don't have to fix a game anyway. It's so bad. But they made a big thing about how they hired people who don't like the Halo games.
Yep.
And I get that. There's a way to phrase that isn't you saying that. You could say you wanted to bring in fresh eyes to see how you can innovate the series. Please say that instead next time if you do that anymore. And then with the Halo show, they were like, we don't gotta play the games. We just read the Wikipedia summaries.
It's so baffling because really, and I'm sure people can think of some, but like with Halo, I can't think of an IP that is like more ready-made. Just, put this in the oven and set to 350 and then do nothing. Like, you could adapt this so easily and people would love it.
Yeah.
It's a very simple story. It's got everything you need in terms of cinema and character dynamics and story and lore. It's perfect for Hollywood. Just turn your brain off and make it, But this weird reinventing of the wheel by people who hate circles, I don't understand.
It's like this thing where I feel like what it is that they get this, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm more trying to explain what might have happened, but they still fucking suck for making this awful show. And I'm happy it's dead. But you're in Hollywood. You're trying to fight for an executive producer role, a writer role, and then you land Halo. I don't know what a Halo is. So you have two options. There's the option that they took and the option that I've taken on projects like this. If you're on a project with a property or a story you're unfamiliar with, either you mold it to fit what you would rather it be instead because you're the writer and you want to write what you want to write, or B, you ingratiate yourself into this and why it works and then try to make it for the people who either want to watch it or make it try to do what made people like it so much in the first place. And they chose A. And that's why the show did not succeed, because it turned off everybody who liked the Halo games. And then anyone who came in was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's that thing. I think I said this about Star Wars on one of the episodes, but the problem is you have Halo. You get people who hate Halo to presumably hook an audience of people who previously didn't like Halo. The problem is the product that they create is something that the fans don't like because it isn't like the product, and it doesn't hook any new people because the new people just see it as the product that they don't have any interest in, and you can't change it enough to make them interested.
Yeah,
it's futile. It's foolishness.
Yeah. Honestly, you have to listen, and obviously, for adaptation especially from game to show or movie, you have to move things around because of the fact that majority of the game's runtime, the story is presented to you in the character's shoes performing the actions.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's some amazing video game stuff that I feel like I wish Halo had gotten that treatment. Like the Last of Us show is basically a fucking copy paste for a lot of it. And where it changed, I think it made an amazing change. Like the Bill and Frank episode is fucking phenomenal. But for the most part, I'd say for 80% of the Last of Us show, it feels like I'm just watching the game. And that's good. I want to be doing that. The idea is it's people already know what it is, so it has to be different this time. No, I want to enjoy the same story, but now I want to watch it with my significant other who doesn't really play those kind of games, and also with this dinner I made, so I can eat food and consume this media at the same time. Because in a game, it's like you gotta like fucking pause and like grab your fucking pizza, and then shit, it's like sticky, and then you gotta wipe your hands, and the whole time you're just listening to the menu music and like, fuck me, this is awkward. Wouldn't it be great if this was a show? I could just watch it. Fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Streamline it, baby.
Yeah, come on.
It's the thing of like, when you're adapting comics or when you're adapting books, your source material is right there. That is your core. I understand making changes for literary things, but like if I'm reading a comic and I'm like, I would love to see a film adaptation of this, it is literally like, I see these panels, I want to see people acting out these actions on the screen.
Yes.
I don't want them drastically reimagined. I don't want, Thor Ragnarok. Oh, we're fighting in an arena. This is Planet Hulk. Motherfucker, I've seen Planet Hulk.
Motherfucker!
Bare minimum. That sucks.
It's such shit. Yeah. Because
I love watching film adaptations of books and then they like say a line that I remember reading in the book. That's a hype moment, dude.
It hits like a crack, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely ways you can adapt and improve upon a book or a game or whatever, but man, what they did with Halo, unrecognizable.
Like if you had some exec or some writer being like, listen, I love the Halo games, I just wish we got a little bit more time establishing the Arbiter. I'd be like, yep, sold. Give me more scenes with them. Perfect. Love it.
You're telling me you want like half of season 2 where we're actually on Halo, because season 1 was Reach, obviously. Half of season 1 on Halo to be the Arbiter's point of view? Yeah, I will kiss you.
Love it.
Why didn't you do that? Really, honestly, it should have been Halo 1, 2, 3 as movies.
Yeah.
And then ODST is like your Paramount Plus 6 episode Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
And then also maybe like Reach, where you get a lot of point of views.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then, from there you can go crazy, do Contact Harvest, do this or that. But like, Halo 1 through 3 should have been like a fucking sci-fi Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Especially because, even if there's a little, even if there's a little too much in 1 and 2 to make their own movie, 3 is so short that if you need to shift things around, that it still works.
I mean, because 3 was supposed to be the end of 2.
Yeah.
So you can really just, if you want to, like, I mean, you can Matrix this, but gooder. Where 1 is a more standalone thing, and then 2 and 3 are the back-to-back, That's kind of how the games are in a way, but done really well.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And you could do it as a show, but, I mean, but what they did is just unrecognizable. And the fact that they take off Chief's helmet all the time. I heard that in Season 2, for the Battle of Reach, he doesn't even have his armor on at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like that'd be an earned moment if they didn't spend most of the show with his armor already off anyway.
Because here's the like with Mandalorian, right? It's a shit show. Sorry, anyone, but like season 1, they at least wait until the end of the season to show his face.
It's really good. Like, it's earned.
You've built up to this moment. If it were me, I would either never do it or I'd wait till like the end of season 3 to show it. Like I'd really slow burn it, but because I think
but it felt earned though.
Yeah, it felt earned. And when you have a character that stays in his armor and you rarely see them face, that's like so much more interesting. As soon as he takes it off regularly, the armor is just armor. It's just a suit. It doesn't say anything about the character.
Because and also Chief has Cortana there the whole time to talk to him. Yeah. That's your emotive character.
And possibly jerk him off through the armor.
Possibly.
It's these are murky waters.
And obviously if you're doing a Halo movie or show, Johnson's now like a primary character. Immediately. Like
that's the other thing is you have to elevate those other characters, if you want more of that human interaction. I still think that you could do it, with the same kind of ratio of focus and it's okay to have a more quiet protagonist, honestly, like
I had to look up his name, but Coleman Domingo would be the motherfucking perfect Johnson. Let me send you a picture of him, of this man. This is, if I was doing the Halo show, Sergeant Johnson would be Coleman Domingo. Look at this motherfucker. Look at him. That's Sergeant Johnson.
Let me see here. Yeah.
That's just Sergeant Johnson.
He is.
Yeah. God, it's just like, and the thing about the suit thing too, so this is near and dear to my heart. So the suit is Master Chief, and the arguments that the showrunners made, and this is how I know they're uncultured swine. Yeah. For a lot of reasons. I mean, from the start, from the fact that because I've been on jobs, like I've done writing jobs before, where I had to like jump into a series I didn't know about, and the first thing I would do after learning what we're doing is consume everything about it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, to the point where they're like, oh, hey, we thought you didn't know much about the series. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but I spent the last 2 days binging it or reading up on all the material. And now I understand all the characters and the world enough to where I can do the part of the story I'm responsible for. And it's like, okay, great. And then, you know, it feels like a fan wrote it, or that it's someone knowledgeable of the series, when really it was just like, I just got myself ingrained in what works. Like, what I looked up stuff about the characters, what people liked about them, what they were interested in, you know, stuff like that. And then it's just like, yeah, you just do that. And then you're able to write, and then you're able to do it without pissing off anybody, and also tell an interesting story. But if you just make up your own character, but you have the names off the Wikipedia article, you're a fucking fraud.
It's so insulting, you know, like,
because the thing is, you make this show good, and then if it's so good, guess what? They'll be more likely to let you make your own original show with your own original ideas.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how people just don't have patience for that sort of thing.
But now no one's gonna hire you because they're like, oh, you did the shitty Halo show that no one liked? Not even the fans of a 2-decade-long franchise liked it? Get out of here.
Yeah.
God.
And you know, to kind of go back to that point, you know, if you are not as familiar, and even if you are doing that research, it is still kind of something, you know, it's not your type of show. Good. You're writing outside your comfort zone. You're showing that you have range. If I'm a, you know, Hollywood producer, assuming I have a soul and actually want the product to be good, and I see something like Halo on this person's resume, and I talk to them, God knows why, and they're like, yeah, I wasn't really familiar with this sort of thing, so I just made it my own. I'm like, you're a shitty writer.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you're telling me you have no range? Like, this is what you've got for me? Fuck off.
Like, you couldn't do the job that you were assigned, so you had to mend it to what you wanted it to be instead of what, you know, we hired you to do? Goodbye.
How'd you, like...
Next.
Assuming you went to a writing school, even if you just took an English class, if you write an essay that is not the prompt that you're given, you get an F.
Yeah, and
even
you know
if
what?
It's great writing.
You know what's funny? In high school, I failed creative writing because that's what I did. They'd be like, "Oh, well, the prompt was this," and I'm like, "Oh, I wrote like 20 pages of this," and they're like, "Okay, that wasn't the prompt." And that's fine when I was like 16, 17, but
yeah, that's what it's for.
You're in fucking Hollywood. You pay taxes. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's not funny. It's like, it's funny when I'm like, yeah, in high school this happened, but you're like, yeah, I didn't follow the prompt on my like Hollywood gig I was doing.
It's so
God.
So bizarre.
And the fucking suit acting too. Like, as someone who watches a lot of Tokusatsu, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, Ultraman, those shows are all people in suits doing body acting.
Yeah, dude.
It's possible. Oh my, one of the cats broken. Hello. That's okay. He's not the loud one. But like, yeah, if you watch these other shows, if you did your research, which obviously these people do not like to do because they just on their paid job just looked up Wikipedia articles.
Yeah.
You can see, hey, let's model it after this. Let's do this. And like, if you looked up anything about Halo, you'd know that like the identity of the Chief, what he looks like, is a thing a fan has never seen really. And so you could just tap into that mystery and keep it going. But no.
Yeah, they claim that they couldn't make a compelling character that people connect with if he just stays in the armor. The irony being the fan base already connects to him because of the armor.
Yes.
Take it off and he's just generic white man, which, you know, it is surprising that you thought that was better in today's climate of Hollywood, but
yeah, like you thought let's show his face.
Yeah, and listen, I haven't consumed a second of this show because I love myself, but if this guy is giving an Oscar-worthy performance and it was just the armor that slowed him down, I'd be very shocked. I'd be very surprised if anyone was like, you know, once he got outside the armor, he was really interesting.
Yeah.
I really like John.
John Spartan? No, different character.
No.
Wish I was watching Demolition Man instead.
I haven't seen it.
Halo show or Demolition Man repeated for the length of the Halo show? I'll take Demolition Man.
I will too.
Anytime.
On blind faith.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm happy it's dead. I hope to God that it can be salvaged and done properly, because I really do want that in my life. I don't like that this is what I got. I'd say I'm been a fan for maybe 21 years. Yeah, this hurts. I'm happy it's dead though.
I hope this effect cascades throughout the streaming shit, you know. Let The Witcher show die. Let Rings of Power die. Wheel of Time can live. You know, let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Good adaptations like Wheel of Time, Last of Us, Fallout. These can survive. Arcane. Yeah. These are great.
Yeah.
Let's keep these up. Because it's like, you know, either you do Last of Us approach where we're adapting the game almost 1-to-1, or the Fallout approach where it's like, hey, we're not going to adapt a specific game. We're going to tell a story in the established world. And it's like, okay, so as long as the world's okay, you don't piss anybody off. You know, like if you want to tell your own original Halo story in the universe, do that. Don't lie to me and say this is supposed to be Master Chief when it's not.
Yeah, that is the thing. The world's big enough where you can steal the aesthetic, you can slap the brand name on and get people's interest that way. But, you know, then do your own thing and don't let it touch the stuff that I like. Yeah,
and that's actually honestly in a way better, because now it's like, you know, because the Last of Us show, it's like if you watch the show and you're not a gamer, there's almost no incentive to play the game now because you've watched the show. With Fallout, the cool thing about that was like, okay, so you've watched the show, you get the vibe, get the feel, get the look. Hey, do you want to play, like, there's like 5 games that are like that is not this story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, that's the way to make a multimedia franchise. But this butchering was not it.
Speaking of a multimedia franchise, there's the next entry of Rebel Moon.
Oh, we're doing it.
Out.
Okay, we have like 10-ish minutes. I thought this was gonna be the whole podcast, but we got sidetracked by you know.
The Asylum.
Thank you. I was about to get there.
I had to like go to the next monitor. So, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. These 2 movies came out when we did not have an active podcast.
It's true.
So we never got to talk about our opinions.
This is also true.
I think it's safe to say that we're both fans. I think it's also safe to say that we don't think that the films are perfect.
Yeah.
And we know and are hoping that it will be better.
For sure.
I don't think that they're bad. I think I'm more favorable than you are, just based on like general baseline of things.
Well, here's the funny thing: is I don't know if I've shared this with you. This might be new content. But you know, as these movies were coming out, we kind of talked about it, and I was like, you know, as much as I don't think these are going to be great, because, you know, Zack Snyder is kind of a visuals guy, and once he touches the writing is where it's kind of like, I'm intrigued at this idea of creating a multimedia, a new IP being birthed, and at the head of it is a person who is approaching it from a creative standpoint, not from a let's turn out some content, baby. So I was kind of like, you know, even if these first few things are not good, I want to get it and support it so that it can grow, so that it can bring new actors and writers and more creatives, you know? So I've watched the first two movies. I got the book adaptation of the first movie.
Same.
I read the first two chapters and was like, this is fucking garbage, and I don't want to read anymore.
That, you know, that's fair. It is a novelization. Those are kind of touch and go. I own the first novelization as well. I have not touched it yet because I'm just happy I supported it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm probably not gonna love it, but you know what? That's okay.
It did slow down my role of like, I need to get the Blood Moon comic and the lore books. I'm like,
yes, I have one of the lore books. I have X and Nilo, whatever. I have the first lore book.
That's right. Have you read any of it?
I flipped through it. It's kind of like the World of Ice and Fire.
Sure.
Yeah, where it's like you kind of look at it and like, yeah, this is on the coffee table I don't have.
Yeah, it's just like kind of a visual dictionary.
Yeah, I'm sure once the two director's cuts drop, I'll probably be more excited to go through it.
Sure.
But yeah, Real Moon. I say that I'm in a similar boat to you, where I think that the first two movies are, pretty good. I like two a lot more, probably because like a lot of the character, stuff got set up and was getting paid off in two, and also the action scenes were fantastic. I think I knew though.
That's weird. I liked part one more.
It's very funny. I feel like with the one, I could see that this was not the full movie. And then for
That's
two,
fair.
I feel like this is closer to what it will probably be when it's done. But
It's fair. With two, I felt like, I felt like, okay, this was a part one, but it, you know, there was kind of a beginning, middle, and end. Whereas two, I felt like it started off immediately with like, nope, this isn't the end. There's more. And then I was like,
okay, yeah.
okay.
I get that.
Oh.
That's right, yeah. But I'd say I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I want it to do well. I like this idea of, like you said, a new IP being birthed right before our very eyes.
Yeah.
So I've gone out and I've supported it as best I can. I own the novelization of the first book, not the second one. I have the House of the Blood Axe comic collection trade. Pre-ordered. It comes the 20th of August when it comes out.
Nice.
The first lore book, the Ex Nihilo, whatever. I own the Nemesis figure and the Jimmy figure.
Right.
I also own the airship popcorn bucket.
That's right.
That Netflix. Oh, sorry, my cat's like now right behind me vomiting. That's cool. Thank you.
Shit.
I'm happy you broke the door in to do this.
Damn. He fucking hates Rebel Moon.
He does. He's like, this shit sucks. It's so boring. There's so much slow mo. I don't get it.
Oh man.
Well, I don't get what was so important about Titus drinking the water. He was just drinking water. Jesus, an actual fucking comment I saw, by the way.
Oops.
I'm sorry that you were too busy on your Discord voice call with all your friends making fun of it that you didn't catch the importance of that scene. Anyway. Jesus, you hate Real Moon, don't you?
Do you?
And also people hate that guy's acting when it's just like, he has an accent, dude.
Come on.
Like, it's funny, but he has an accent. People were arguing with me where they're like, but no one else has an accent like that. Like, Space Ireland doesn't exist. And I'm like, nothing exists. It's fucking made up.
That makes him distinct, don't it?
Yeah.
No one else sounds like Anthony Hopkins' robot.
But it's okay because Anthony Hopkins sounds normal.
Oh,
that's really what it is here. What else do I own? Oh yeah, I also today I I had fun. I ordered a Rebel Moon hoodie because it looked pretty cool.
I did see those at. Did you get it from the Netflix store?
I
assume.
did.
I thought about it. I did. I
Yeah.
have thought about it.
I wanted to
They do
support
look
it.
Cool.
But yeah, so coming out on the 28th, 29th is the Seneschal, which just got announced. Like they literally like the other day were like, hey, this is happening in like 2 days or whatever.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So the Seneschal is a rebel. Okay, I hate this. They call it a fucking podcast. First of all, kill yourself. Second of all, it's a fucking audio drama. Just call. I think it's probably for like search term optimization.
Yeah, because audio dramas are for old people.
Yeah, because it's called Zack Snyder's The Seneschal, and I'm like, not Rebel Moon The Seneschal.
I guess at the moment there's more stock in Zack Snyder's name than Rebel
yeah.
Moon.
It's kind of like how they call like Glass Onion and Knives Out mystery when it's like, no, it's a Benoit Blanc mystery. Knives Out is over. That was a movie. It's done now.
I don't have a horse in the race. I'll take your word for it.
But it's, you know, that thing of like, why are you calling this a Knives Out mystery when the only character that comes back is Benoit Blanc, and then he'll be the only character going to the next one.
Yeah, it's like how a couple of years ago, WWE had their Payback pay-per-view the month after WrestleMania, so they called it WrestleMania Payback.
Yeah,
and it's like, this isn't WrestleMania.
It's like, yeah, but it'll show up in the searches. That's so bad.
Oh.
So it's an audio drama. I'm gonna call it what it is.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna call it Twitter. Fuck you. It stars Ella Purnell, who's like this actor who, I swear to God, man, I didn't know who she was, and then now that I know who she is, she's in everything.
Isn't it so weird how that works?
I love it. It's so great. Because she's like 9 months older than me. How dare you have a better career than me? Yeah, she was in. She was the main character of the Fallout show. She's Jinx in the League of Legends Arcane show. Apparently she was in Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder, but I listen, as much as I like to dick ride Zack Snyder stuff for fun, I can't dick ride Army of the Dead.
Well, hey, eventually we're gonna find a way for it to be in the Rebel Moon universe.
That's gotta be a meme, bro. There's no way.
I can't wait to see how they stretch and break things to make those fit together.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be its own audio drama.
There we go.
She's a kick-ass too. What the fuck? Anyway. Oh, she was Teen Maleficent in Maleficent. And in
all right.
The Legend of Tarzan, she was young Jane Body double uncredited. So a big career ahead of her, truly.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, she's in the audio drama. It's also got Jason Isaacs. It's also got Alfred Enoch, who is Dean from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah, he does stuff too. He's like one of the few Harry Potter guys that like acts still.
Sure.
Love that for him. I love anyone who escaped Harry Potter and had a career. I know he's in also in Foundation, which is hey man, get the Apple money, I guess.
Yeah, get it while you can.
Seriously. But yeah, it's gonna be this audio drama set 500 years before Rebel Moon, and I'm pretty excited. This is a pretty crazy time for Rebel Moon, is for all 5 of us fans, to have the 2 director's cuts, this 6-episode audio drama. And I know the comic was coming out in like individual issues, but I have an issue with comic issues, so I haven't read any of them yet. I feel a little bit bad, but not really.
No,
Listen,
no. You don't need to be that much of a shill. The amount of work you have to do to get each individual issue is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Just get that omnibus, baby.
I know. I go to the comic shop and I'm like, hey guys, do you have this? And they're always like, no. You can try the comic shop. And I'm like, hey, it came out today. Is there no more shipments? No. You can try the comic shop across the street. And they're like, and I'm like, across the street, it's like 3 blocks. Like, yeah, it's across the street. I have this song and dance all the time. That's why I gave up on getting single issues. That's why when I walk in, I walk past the rows of singles and I go right to the omnibuses, and I'm like, yay, it's all here at a decent price.
That's the way to go. Like, I feel like the only people who get single issues are people who are wanting to collect them.
Yeah.
Because why would you want, like, if you're reading through a comic story, why would you want like a stack of 6 to 10
and a single issue
issues?
is so fucking short.
Yeah.
And half of it's ads.
Yes.
And then how do you store that? And then how do you know where it is? That's so
well,
fucking
you have to
small.
get the plastic sleeves
oh god!
and ensure you that you store it in a cool, dry space.
Do you want to get
away
a
from
sleeve and
light.
bag for an extra 25 cents? Sorry, I've been here a lot.
Yeah, no, believe me, I understand.
Fuck, dude. So yeah, I've not read House of the Blood Axe, but I'm excited for it. I mean, I like the Blood Axes, so I'm hyped for Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. House of the Blood Axe.
I was gonna say I like one of them, and then
the one that
you know, the one that died.
I hope
I'm
the one thing the director's cuts change is that we see him be okay.
I would love that.
Please.
You know, see what I'm curious about, because allegedly, what I'm hearing now is that originally, allegedly, there was supposed to be a trilogy. Then Zack Snyder decided to make the first movie 2 movies. Then he decided to make each of the entries in the trilogy 2 movies. Then
what I heard
and
about that is that Netflix was like, this movie's too long.
Yes.
So he was like, fine.
Well, yes, but then he split it into 2 parts, and they still said, "Oh, it's too long." So, again, a trilogy is somehow becoming like 12 films instead.
What is this? The fucking Stormlight Archives? Come on.
But what I'm really hoping for, I really hope, because based on the trailer, I will say the trailer for the director's cut, made me intrigued when I had kind of lost interest in Rebel Moon. I really hope that the director's cut is received so much better that in the next entries we can just jump straight to that and not get the quote-unquote theatrical original streaming release of the next 2, and then get director's cuts of those, and then get, you know, like, just let's get to the fucking point.
Because I feel like for a lot of people, it really sours their experience. And they don't like this release method. And it's so hard to be a defender of this when I do agree this is a bad decision. Because, like, I get that, like, Netflix wanted, like, a more PG-friendly, and then that got Zach to have his, like, R-rated masterpiece, theoretically. But, like, man, I hope they see, like, all of the discourse about this, and next time just decide, hey, man, all right. We'll just go right to the R-rated cut. Because from what I remember, Zack Snyder, since he knew this so far in advance, like, filmed things specifically for each cut.
Yeah.
So it's like, that'll save us some time if we don't have to fucking do that.
Yeah, see, I feel like what's interesting with director's cuts is I feel like there's 2 different versions. One is it still fits. It's just the things we see in the director's cut happened off screen in the theatrical, or they're drastically different films. And this is what Snyder has basically been selling. And that's where I'm kind of like, let's cut out this weird middleman shit, because I don't want 6 films that are one continuity and 6 director's cuts that are a different continuity, and then expanded media that's hopping around between the 2. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because, yeah, it's like, because I know for a while, even now, people are like, wait, are the novelizations based on which version of the movie? And it's like, fuck.
And I get it. PG-13, you want to cast the widest net possible, but the thing is, with Rebel Moon, your selling point was Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Hot off the heels of the Snyder cut. Rebel Moon isn't drawing any people that are like, oh, let me take my kids to watch this, or it's not attracting like young teens, because it's this grim, dark, edgy shit. This is attracting Zack Snyder fans.
Yeah.
That is your core audience. Just let them have what they fucking want.
I listened to an interesting thing recently where Mike Flanagan was on a podcast. And Mike Flanagan's done like 5 shows for Netflix and 2 movies. He talked about how at first at Netflix, he had a lot of like freedom because the execs told him, "Hey, we have the biggest streaming audience. Do whatever you want, and we will find the audience. They're there because everyone's here."
Yeah.
And then something happened during COVID where like there was a shakeup in the guard. And during that shakeup, when it was in lockdown, he was on an island filming Midnight Mass and did whatever the fuck he wanted.
Oh.
And by the time they saw it, they were like, "Oh, what? This isn't a vampire show." And he's like, "No, it's not, but vampires are in it at the end, kind of." And they were like, "But we were told this is a vampire show." And he's like, no, not really. I mean, yeah." And they're like, "Well, can you make the vampires like show up sooner?" And he's like, "No." And they're like, "How do we market this?" And he's like, "I don't know."
It's not my department.
Not my department. I think you said I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And now like Netflix is all about like hitting certain demographics, finding the right like audience, and like editing stuff and filming stuff like to a by an algorithm. Like, "Oh, we know people check out at this minute, so can you move this an action scene up or a scare to here to keep people interested?" So like this whole director's cut thing, whether or not Zach had like a lot of hand in the decision to do this or a little hand, Netflix probably loves this because they get to market. Now they have almost the same product that they can market to completely different groups, and that's all they care about.
It's true.
And the weird thing is, I feel like Rebel Moon will have a long-standing appeal or a long-standing franchise because of everyone who hates it so much. Like,
It's true.
I saw someone online, or a lot of people online, where they're like, "Oh shit, I have to fucking watch these again," and I didn't want to say to them, "No, you don't," because I want them to.
I know, it's like the solution is right in your face. We're like, because I'm someone who's a pessimistic asshole that's hated major Hollywood releases for like the last 5 years. How long is it going to take you to realize, hey, they don't care if you say shit about it, if you don't watch it, if you don't give them the view, if you don't give them your money? That's what kills it.
Yeah.
Not you watching it and then talking about it on social media.
Yeah. I'm sure Netflix sees all the buzz, and they're probably like, "Yeah, that's right."
It's wild.
It's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the other day, I saw how much Rebel Moon stuff got announced. So I went ahead and made a meme real quick. I was already in Photoshop anyway. We're doing some work. So I did the meme where it's like the guy with the 3 plates of food looking like he's in absolute heaven.
Yeah.
So I edited, director's cut on 1 plate, Seneschal on 1 plate, House of the Blood Axe on another. And I posted it to Rebel Moon subreddit because I was like, I'm sure they'll appreciate this.
Oh God.
Because to be fair though, like objectively as like a fan of a franchise, having 3 different things come out so close together is like, damn,
awesome.
That's crazy. And other Rebel Moon fans thought it was fun, but I all of a sudden got like a bunch of other comments from people not on the Reddit who were just like, "Oh, you like to eat garbage?" And like all up in there like talking smack and like saying shit about the movie. And man, I go and then I look at their accounts and they all are frequent posters on the Mauler subreddit. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Yeah, they're really spearheading the shit against it, and I guess it's weird. I still like Mahler videos, but I definitely fell out of the community a while ago.
Yeah, me too. And that's just so funny. I've seen this, and I'm like, man, I used to be one of you motherfuckers, but now I'm married, so I don't do that.
That's fair. That's a good point.
It's like I understand disliking something because you and I greatly dislike The Last Jedi. But like, we're not gonna go to the Last Jedi subreddit and be like, "Your movie sucks." Actually,
No, I look on more neutral ground for flaming people on it. You know, I don't need to seek out the fans.
exactly. It's like if someone says to me, "I like Last Jedi," I can go, "Do you want to hear what I have to say about Last Jedi, or do you want to just like move on?"
Yeah.
But yeah, these people are crazy, dude. It's like it's. I think the more older I get, the more I'm like, these are young people who are just really emboldened with their opinions.
Yeah.
And it's sad that like Netflix / Zack Snyder did this marketing campaign to, you know, technically show a less better version of the movies as people's first impressions.
Yeah.
It's a bad move.
It is.
So, and it sucks because like now, like you look up anything Rebel Moon related and it's everybody just dogging on it. And it's like, that's just sad, man. Because it's like a fan base can grow, but you chose to do this. And then also, it's also like the Zack Snyder v. James Gunn fans, which is weird.
That is baffling to me.
Because I'm sure they're friends. They've made a movie together.
Yeah.
They made a really good movie together. And I'm like, you know, they probably laugh about this to each other when they're like having like their every few months dinner with each other's families.
You know, it's like it's like when wrestlers use another wrestler's move and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, did you see the shit about AJ Styles and Will Ospreay?
No, but I can imagine the entire argument in my head.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% on this, but in Ospreay versus MJF, Ospreay did like a Styles clash or something.
Ospreay typically hits a Styles clash during big matches.
Yeah, and so apparently people were like dogging on him, and it got to the point where AJ Styles was like, "Why do you think I give a shit that he used my finisher? It looked great, good for him." It's like, God.
That's what's
like,
always so weird about
people
these.
like Kenta that are like, "How dare you do the GTS? That's mine." But like, you know, it's silly. Like,
silly.
leave it between the creatives because most of the time they don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like when people are like, "Oh, so and so was backstage at WWE or AEW," and everyone's like, "Yeah, we're friends, dude. We just work for different companies. What are you talking about?"
The tribalism is a fan thing.
Yeah, like
it's very odd.
Like Zack Snyder probably loves Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably can't wait to watch the Superman movie, and then vice versa. Like James Gunn's probably like, "Fuck yeah, new Rebel Moon, let's go." Like, I'm sure they're hyping each other up, man. They don't give a fuck. They don't. This whole like, I understand disliking a movie. I understand disliking something, like Halo, right? Like the Halo show. But I'm not gonna go onto the Reddit and go, "Ha ha, your show died."
Yeah,
I have dishes to do. You know what I mean? I got a life to live, man.
I have a new lawn. I got grass. I got to go touch.
You have grass now, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You don't got
That's
time
wild.
to be fucking seeking out people to get like. Imagine going to like, especially Rebel Moon, where like everyone hates Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
And going on their Reddit and seeing them having fun, and walking in and be like, "Hey, I'm Mr. Edgy."
Yeah.
So I mean, if you made it this long, and you're not a Rebel Moon fan, just like let us be. Let us have our fun. You know, you have your shit to like, we have our shit to like. You know, it's cool to share opinions, but it's the way people go about it that's a bit toxic.
Yeah, I think it's just, I guess if there are people that hate it down to the very concepts, like I understand kind of why they would shit on any like new media, but like the comic is not, as far as I know, really written or, you know, super influenced by Zack Snyder, so like that, you know, could be feel and look completely different from the movies. How do you know it's shit? Or, you know, I guess the audio drama sounds like it is pretty heavy Zack Snyder, so yeah, if you didn't like the movies, you probably won't like it. But at the same time, it's a completely different period in the story. It could be good. I don't know. Again,
Yeah.
I'm still surprised at how much of a Star Wars ripoff it didn't really feel like, as much as some people.
What's so
think it
funny
still
is people will like to say it's a Star Wars ripoff, and I'm like, because there's a cantina.
I get it. Someone's got glowy blades. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's a really good Flash Gordon ripoff. You know?
Yeah. It's a 40K ripoff. Come on. Be a little more original in your insults.
Yeah. I see people saying that, but there are also people from Mahler's subreddit, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you know what 40K is.
Yeah.
And that's a more accurate, but again, also, like, all art is based off other art, that's based off art, that's based off art, that's based off art. Like, everything is derivative of something. Like, even, like, Lord of the Rings, a lot of that stuff was literally Tolkien being like, man, I wish Shakespeare did this instead.
Yeah. Or just, I love these folk tales. What if I adapt them into a cohesive narrative? And it's like, cool.
Tolkien was
or
like,
Star Wars.
Man,
fucking hell.
No man of woman born can slay me. And then Tolkien was like, a woman? And they were like, no, C-section guy. And he was like, fuck that. I'm changing that. You tell me that the forest didn't literally march on them? Okay, Ents, here we go. Like, everything is derivative of something. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's all right. And I'd say that, like, what Zack Snyder's doing with Rebel Moon is a very interesting mix of a lot of clear influences.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of beautiful that we have this, like, space opera that's mixed with grimdark, mixed with Seven Samurai, mixed with 40K. This is dope.
It's a very big universe that could spawn, a lot of very interesting stories.
Yeah,
I don't know how far its legs are going to carry it. I hope far,
I hope so. We'll be here to cover it. So Nathan, will you join me in a weekly listen of the Seneschal?
I can. Where is it?
So
How
it's
do I
6
get it?
episodes.
Yeah.
It's on Spotify or probably other. I'm sure it's going to be on other things too.
Is Spotify free? Free with ads?
Yeah, there's ads.
Okay, but I don't got to pay for it, right?
No.
Okay, I'll give them the official avenue.
Yeah.
Listen.
And I'm sure when it comes out, a bunch of sites will be like, "Hey, we have it." I'm sure maybe even I know Netflix. I think might have an actual podcast thing on their on their website.
Yeah, they're trying to do it.
Like, I know Max
I was blown
has
away
it
when they have a store. So
yeah, when I found the Netflix merch store, I was oh shit, sorry, it auto played a thing.
Oh shit.
What if I looked up podcast on Netflix? No, not really. That's okay.
Not yet, anyway.
I know Max has it. Where like I know they had a thing where it was like after whatever House of the Dragon shit, you could listen to the podcast.
Oh, well.
So it's a thing. So maybe they have it on there. But yeah, do you want to do a weekly little touch base about it?
Yeah, I think I can commit to that.
Hell yeah. We'll see if we can convince Joe. Joe be easy. He listens to things all day anyway. He'll be the easy
it's
one.
True.
He'll know the most about the Seneschal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I believe it.
Anyway, I think this is a good ending point. I really wanted to get into Rebel Moon because I feel like we didn't talk about it when it came out, and then so much has happened.
Yeah, that new trailer dropped, and I didn't hear about the Seneschal actually, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm unfortunately online. I don't like how online I am, but it has its uses, I guess.
For sure.
Man, but Rebel Moon Director's Cut comes out the day or two before your wedding?
Yeah, August 2nd, the day before. So
you're probably not gonna even watch it until you're back.
Yeah, probably not.
That's safe. It's also 2 fucking movies that are like not gonna be short.
Wait, are both of them coming out?
Yes, the same day.
Oh, fucking shitballs.
And while this is happening, the fucking audio drama's coming out, and then after it's all done, the fucking comic comes out. That's what I'm saying. We eating good.
That's well timed. That is well timed.
Yeah, no, everything's fallen into place. It's beautiful. It's like you should be happy for people who are into Rebel Moon that they're getting so much of the thing they like. even if you think it's dog shit. I like my dog shit. It's tasty. With its like, eagle pendants and shit and volcanic pistols.
Yeah. 100%.
I love those volcanic pistols, bro.
I love that the lasers splash. It's great.
Oh my god. It's that style you need from Zack Schneider. Anyway, so maybe we'll talk about Rebel Moon Director's Cut like
in a month or so.
in a month?
It's gonna be a little
Probably
bit.
when Blood Axe comes out.
Yeah, something like that.
Hell yeah. Well, I've been Sal.
I've been Nathan.
And this has been the Shuttlecast.
Hey.
Asylum.